How's it going, folks? My name is Jim, and this video is about taking this Z71 roof rack that I got off the 2002 Suburban, and we're going to be mounting it on my 2003 2500 Suburban. So the big question is, why would you want to do this? And to answer that, it is that the Z71 roof rack sits up a little bit higher, and it has these rear cutouts in the back of it here for lights. So what you have is, this is the internal frame right here, and as you can see, someone's already mounted up lights in here, so this has already been modified. And so what people do is they cut out this little back spot right here, and then this light just poke on through, and it looks pretty much like it gives a very stock look to it. So this thing obviously isn't clamped down all the way here, but that's what it looks like. So it's a nice look. We're gonna do just cleaning this thing up, going through. We're gonna paint the rails on this because they've been sitting out for 21 years, and so we want to get that corrosion and all that just oxidation off them. As far as the plastic pieces, we're gonna be going through this. I have some back to black plastic rejuvenator. Basically, it will hopefully make these a little bit less fragile, and hopefully they'll last for a few more years too. Roof racks don't get a lot of attention when you're doing your maintenance on your car, like waxing it. They just get neglected, and so they get pretty sun beat up and sun damage. So we're gonna fix that today, and just gonna take you through the process of getting this thing installed on the Suburban. So these two right here, these are the rubber pieces that sandwich in between the plastic mount that your roof rack mounts to. So this is the very front pieces. This sandwiches between the roof of the vehicle and this mount here. So I did, washed it, soapy water, scrubbed it, and now we're going to take this VRP. So this is Chemical Guys vinyl rubber plastic protectant. This is used for tires, dashes, pretty much anything plastic on your vehicle or rubber. And I'm going to just go through this and put a pretty liberal coat on here. Reason being is this is 21 years old, and we want it to last for another 20 plus years. And so by adding this protectant on here, it's to help hydrate it and keep it from cracking, because these things just sit in the sun and just bake. So you want to do what you can to help prolong the life of these. So this is pretty straightforward stuff to use. I just rip up a paper towel like this, shake it up, just put it on everything here. And this stuff will just soak into the rubber, and any parts you're going to put this on, it just soaks into it, and it just kind of keeps the meldability of that rubber or plastic, so it's not as likely to crack. I don't know if I'm going to use this on the plastic. I have some actual trim restore from Meguiar's that I think will work good for that as well. Do a little bit of digging here to figure out which one I want to use. They'll both work, but this VRP stuff, I just like it a little bit more. I feel like it's soaks in a little bit better. These are the support pieces right here, so these are the 4 that sit in between the front and the back, and they just provide support so it doesn't bend in the middle. The Meguiar's plastic restorer, it's kind of the same consistency as a VRP, but it's just mainly marketed for plastics. Says I'll work on vinyl, rubber, trim, but you know, I don't know what the difference is or which one's gonna last longer. So yeah, I'll use the this VRP. The stuff works pretty good, and it's gonna do just fine on this plastic as well. So they both do the same thing. They both advertise for the same thing. It's kind of just, you know, pick the brand that you think's gonna be best. At the end of the day, all it's doing is adding moisture, for lack of a better term. It's not drying out your rubber, and that's what you want. You want that stuff to, you know, keep some flexibility in there, keep some moisture in there. In this case, it's some sort of oil or grease, but it's just keep it hydrated so it's less brittle and less likely to break on you. The reason I want to do this too, while it's not on the vehicle, is so I can get into all the spots I wouldn't normally be able to get to once it's mounted, and 2, I don't want to get this product all over my paint. So this is a good time to do it. If you're wondering why I didn't pull the rubber off here, I'm not quite sure how it's held on in there. You can see there's this clip, I think, that goes in there, and I don't really want to yard on it and pull it off just because I don't know how it goes back in. So we're just going to leave it on here. Yeah, I like to separate the two and clean it out really good, but I think for the process of what I'm doing, just washing it like we did and doing this project will be just fine. I don't think I need to pull it off and get on the inside there. So, because I don't want to risk damaging it, because they don't make replacements for these. The best luck you're going to have is going on eBay and finding one on there, or finding another donor vehicle. And these donor vehicles, they're not super common, at least in the Pacific Northwest. I found 3 in the last 6 months, I think. So it's just not I'm just not seeing a lot of them that are being parted out. So this one I got lucky with. It was about half an hour away from me, so pretty quick drive. I was able to get up there and pull this off, so I kind of have an idea of how it goes back on. When you're pulling these things off, you want to be careful, because the I think it's a Torx head bit. You strip those out because they're usually rusted in here. The bolts that go through here that hold this to the body of the car, they haven't moved in 20 plus years, so they have all sorts of rust, corrosion, plus Loctite from the factory, so it's kind of a pain to get them off. But we only had to end up cutting 2 of them off, so 2, we're making sure all the passageways for water to get out are sealed up too. So it's a good design. So obviously your bolt hole that holds us down goes right here. So this is mounted to the roof, and this is toward the side. So you have your bolt hole right here, but you have these water channels here. So these water channels go the whole perimeter of it. So even if you do get some water that seeps in between the roof and this piece of rubber here, all it's just going to get wicked through and go to this channel and leak out. So we had the siding done on our house a couple years ago, and the contractor that was doing it was like, hey, it's important to make sure you're keeping the water out, but it's even more important to make sure the water that does get in has a way to escape, so it just isn't sitting there and rot. And so that's what this channel is here. You know, they design it so hopefully water won't get in, but they also have an exit way for it. So, or in this case, 2 exit ways. So we just want to make sure that those are cleared, and that way anything water-wise that gets in there cannot escape. Alright, so we have the parts painted right here, reassembled into the brackets that go on them. So all I need to do is hop up here, and so the way this goes is you have 2 bolts up front, 1 for each of these little pillars, so this one and this one, and then you have 2 back here. They're T25s, I believe, and just give them a whack with a hammer once you set the driver in here. That way it helps break that rust loose. So I'm going to try to pull all these bolts out and see if we can lift this off all in one assembly. So something just to be mindful of. So when you have these, you think, oh, they'll just go on either side, but they actually are marked. So see if I can bring it into focus here. You can see right there, that one says right hand. And bring on this one right here, you can see down at the bottom there, this says left hand. So just look at the bottom part right here, and this will tell you which side it goes on. Not sure exactly why it won't work, but they put them on there for a reason, so make sure you're getting them on the right side. So we're kind of oriented here. This is the very back piece. So this is the roller that allows you to put your kayaks and stuff up on, and this direction's toward the front. So it has 4 bolts that holds itself on, and they are what are these? T15. I'm just gonna pop these out. And this is the inside. So you can see there's just a little bushing in here, and that's what this roller rides on. It also has this wavy looking washer here that just helps kind of maintain tension so it's not rattling around. So I'll pull both of these off, and I'm just going to drill where I think's best spot to is drill through here. That way we can run the wire directly through this support here.
Your children are still awake.
What?
They don't go to sleep.
Okay, so this is what the finished product looks like. I've notched out this channel right here. You can see this is the groove that the edge right here sits in. So we've grooved this out here so this wire sits down low so it doesn't get pinched in there. Taking these, is the heat shrink wrap with the solder built into it. Solder those together. There's a light installed, 4 bolts, hex nuts, and where it says sit in here, pops on top. No real exposed wires because the wires running through this tube here. This from the top, you can see a little bit there, but this is what the finished product's going to look like. And then we'll just do the same over on that side, run power down the channel right through here, and then we'll get hooked up. Alright, so here's everything hooked up. So the way we run this is there's that far side over there on the driver's side. That wire is hooked up to that light, comes directly through this channel right here. It pops out, and then I was able to drill just underneath where this drain slot is. So hopefully it makes better sense, but I'm underneath the lip right here. So when this edge mates up to this lip, it's not pinching this wire. Then I've connected all 3 wires together with butt connectors. So these are the ones that have the, not flux, but the solder in them. And heat them up, the solder melts all the wires together. So this is the wire that goes to that light, and I have this light hooked in here, and then I have the power wire. And the way I ran this is it just goes down through this little hole right here. Now this can be problematic because this hole is your drain hole. This is the only drain hole on this whole rubber section right here. So water, when it gets in here, needs a place to go, and so it'll naturally drain to the lowest point, which is this part right here. And this is, we don't want this to get plugged up with anything. So you just gotta keep an eye on this, make sure that this is, not causing issues. You don't want water getting backed up in here. The wire does lift it up a little bit, so naturally it should wick out, but we just want to keep an eye on that. Anytime you're running through a drainage channel, it can be problematic. So we'll flip this light cover back over, and then as far as how I'm going to run it in the Suburban itself, my thought is to go into this wire cover right here, find a way to tap in here, and then we're going to run this probably to switch up front. I don't think I want it to come on automatically with the backup lights. I want to have the control to be able to turn it on or off. because I don't want to be in a parking lot and blinding people and pissing people off when I put this thing in reverse trying to back out of a parking spot. So let's test this out. You can see it's pitch black out right now, and we're going to come over here. We have our switch panel right there on the side of the console. We're going to click our rear lights on. I am really, really happy with that. That shines out a lot of light right where I want it. So you have this shadowy area. There is some light distribution being thrown in this, about this 10-foot chunk from the rear bumper to where the lights really hit here. But if I'm backing up, that's going to be taken care of with the backup lights that are in the taillight housings. So that's not a problem. I'll show you that here in a second. These lights right here, their primary function is for trailers. So I haul about a 20-foot flatbed trailer with this, or flat deck trailer, and I want to be able to see where it's going. I want to see where the tail of that trailer is going. I want to see where the tires are, because if I'm backing into a tight space, I don't want to hit anything. And it doesn't have really any backup lights on it that come on. It just has the running lights. So this is perfect for that. This casts a ton of light down on that trailer, so when I'm trying to back it up, I know where it's going. As far as being able to utilize it when I'm parked like this, just by the press of a button, I like that too, because I can use this for loading that trailer. Because I load pieces of equipment on it at night, and it's nice to be able to see the trailer when I'm loading it. I like that it's not directly connected to my reverse lights, because if it was, this would probably piss off some people in the parking lots or anywhere that I'm reversing. It's kind of obnoxious in that sense. But it has its time, it has its place. And for trailers, this is awesome. So I'm going to throw it into reverse here. The truck's off, parking brake's on, but I just want to show you what it looks like with the reverse lights on too, just so you can get an idea of how much light is being cast down. So I have LED reverse lights in here, stock taillight housings, but we're throwing down a ton of light. I'm going to have no problem seeing where I'm going at all with this. This is a beautiful setup. I'm a believer in having as much light as possible to see what I'm doing, and this accomplishes that tenfold. Really, really happy with it. As far as how blinding it is, yeah, it's blinding, but let's check it out here. So, say I was loading a piece of equipment on my trailer, I can still deal with this. That is not so obnoxious that it's going to be hard for me to see. You get closer, yeah, but you just tip the brim of your hat down. You don't look directly at the light. You look down, you'll be fine. So, anyway guys, hopefully that answers some questions. Hopefully that gives you some inspiration for doing this on your truck. Like I said, I'm really happy with how this came out. So, thank you guys for watching.